Hello, this is Jake Like, gaming lawyer at your service, where once again back with the great Ace Attorney. And last we left off, a lot of things have been enlightened to us. Who tampered? There was a tampering of a crime scene, and we found out why. But we have not found out what exactly happened. As in, how was the victim stabbed exactly? Because of the fourth book, right? So without further ado, we'll continue. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the two people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you ever look at it, had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would have made a jot of difference. I suppose this is for me now. I've had it. My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zix. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him? For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you. Why does it sound weird? The police will contact you in due course. Please, don't punish my husband. It was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. All right then, my love. One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Never again, sir? You mean to say? Leave now. This trial is not yet over. Sir. Well, even though he's racist, he can be nice, I guess. Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Suseki Natsume, is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime. Objection. No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord Van Zix, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime. Mrs. Take that! Joanne married Dan. The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again? My assistant made the same request earlier, in order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joanne Garritab. Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection.
That request has already been denied.
Objection.
But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garritab, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? Wow. I'm a freaking racist. At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garritab. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the big window. Upon striking the pane of the open top hinge casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but at anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garritab. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before? I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? Let's shrug off the domestic violence, shall we? And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said members of the jury didn't testify, did he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection.
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4. Oh? Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out. Well, don't quote me on this or take my words for fact, but if the jurors are so intertwined in the case, they can't be jurors anymore. And the whole thing has to restart. I believe the trial will have to restart again as well. Pick a fresh set of jurors, actually. So yeah, I think that is, from what I have studied and learned, that is what happens if there is a jury has been compromised in any way. Alright? If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. But that's just a common old garden knife. It could have come from anywhere, you know. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Garritab. Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop. Do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruto, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. Then take the stand, juror. Ooh. The prosecution does not object to the defense request to cross-examine this woman. Well, you may be a racist, but I guess you have principle and pride. Thank you, Lord Van Zix. I'm going to have to testify? Oh, shit. Juror number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh dearie me. So, I demand your full unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Scaridab. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsel? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Yes. Oh, different angle. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. I'm an ace attorney! Roll credits. Wait, I didn't mean it literally. Oh, okay. Witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes. My name is Joanne Garidab. And I'm a juror and such like. It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam? Yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh dearie me. I'm guessing this is the husband? Chin up, Joanie. Nothing to worry about now. Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Once John, once Joanne. Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you? You can't just simply invite yourself in, you know, Mr. Gary there. But what about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you are Mr. John Garidab? Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Since my fair share of action, and now living the quiet life, as it were. The quiet life? Where you're not engaged in an incendiary... How do you say that word? Incendiary, right? Incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question. Ah, well, yes, I am quite.
I believe this may represent a first in a proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now. Juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Okay. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. I know the reason. Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed if one or two went missing, I'm afraid. If that barley thing in the victim's bag really was one of ours, you'll have a job proving it, I think. It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that only every battlefield you're just a gnat whiskers from death at any moment. Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here? Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. 1-6 may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruto. Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. Alright. First, I'm gonna press this. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Gary Depp. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Gary Depp found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it too. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, what a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to track it all up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway. A likely story. These waters run very deep. And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Okay, I guess it's not that. Knocked the candlestick over the set fire to the carpet, soon had it out though and got a window open. Let's just press this. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture in it. The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine really. Just so happens there was some bath water around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see. The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although, that little moustache Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, from his home country. Can't you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Have you actually seen the state of the man?
I believe he uses all his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough. Okay, nothing suspicious about that statement, I guess. Picking whatever I could find to throw at him. Let's just press this. Can I get more details out of it? Even though the room was on fire.
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
It's most certainly an anger management problem.
Not true of a Susato takedown, Miss Naruto.
How did you know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was the knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, a garlic, a towel, and a sponge and a neck.
Pursuit! Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Gary there. Don't you! Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the whole thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and a fire poker, I seem to recall. Ouch! And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed directly from everybody. Ah! Good grief, woman. We're not at home now. This is a court of law, and you dumped tea on my pipe. God damn it, and now it's ruined. What am I going to do now?
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear.
What's she even doing with a teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a like this then. How do you suppose that happened, Your pipe, sir? Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked in clean out with one of her soft projectiles. She did, yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I like to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
I see, your pipe was broken.
Would have never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now.
Huh, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
I wonder what we should make of this account. Could be important. Be important. The defense believes Mr. Garrida's remarks just now to be of great significance. These war veterans' words only tell us one thing. Betrayer, fiery wife, and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony.
Indeed, common sense, one might say.
Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
Very well. The court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
Apparently it fell to the floor during a domestic dispute. Alright, let's gonna check it out. Bandage the thing. See if there's anything in there. Oh! I don't need to bandage it. Truth is inside already. Eureka, we've solved the mystery now. But something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake.
What's this?
It's a tiny fragment of metal. Does it look like the tip of a blade or something?
The tip of a blade?
Surely couldn't be. This small piece of metal looks like a blur. Can I examine this thing? This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garrett's pipe.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
The tip of a blade?
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto?
I don't really know. There's just something niggling me. But I can't quite put my finger on it.
Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of evidence again.
Alright. I'll do that. Open this up. Open it up, let me see. Yay. Take a look at these. Wait, part of it's missing. I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this?
Ah, that's the tiny fragment of metal we found inside Mr. Garrett's pipe.
Yes, and just maybe...
Oh my, it's a perfect fit!
Somehow, I just knew it. Right, so...
I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Sasaro-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Well then, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garrideb. Now, we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? Alright. Thinking again, I have to think out on this. Not sure that the evidence right now I can present. Can I? It's a stretch though, it's a stretch. I can just simply present this, right? Nope, I was wrong. Okay, yep. As you can see, as long as it's a stretch, if it's not directly related, I can't. Let's press this. Or, you know, I'm gonna save it. And I'm gonna do it. Right? I'm gonna present the piece of metal with this statement. Alright, I'm correct. Alright, good. Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing. You can't? You used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Oh, he does, dearie me. It's rather wearing being asked about every other letter you know, every other word.
You must very dizzy. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? How convenient, right? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
my pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there. And what precisely does this fragment of matter signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is some way related to the matter of stabbing on Briar Road?
Ooh. I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of matter will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. I just saw Mrs. Gary Depp has a box for her to stand on.
You appear rather confident in the extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of matter, allegedly reveals the truth of this case? Present!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones.
And what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim. No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of matter we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Gary Depp's pipe! And with that, we have to stop over here because we are over time now. So sorry about that. So, hope you enjoyed this episode. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna finally review everything on the next episode. So, it's been a while now. This case been a while now. So, anyways, take care. Stay hopeful, but be critical. All right. Bye bye.